Okay, so I'm filming this as a quick bench tip video for people who have to bench at commercial gyms. A big problem at commercial gyms can be that the bar is not sharp and that the knurling is full of hand skin, and that very frequently the bars at commercial gyms are designed more for weightlifting than for powerlifting or for heavy lifting, where the bar will rotate much more easily. So today I'm demonstrating on a bar which is pretty much like the bars you'll get at most commercial gyms, which is a 20 kilo bar, originally really designed for Olympic weightlifting, and that it's just the cheap, when you type in barbell into Google, it's what you get, and it's what a lot of gyms have. It's just a basic barbell. And so I used to train at a lot of commercial gyms, Basic Fit here in the Netherlands, and this is the kind of bar, or a very similar type of bar, that you very frequently get at these kinds of gyms, and it's not the best for benching. In having to bench on these kinds of bars, I learned very much how to set my wrists and my wrist and my grip for bench to sort of bench optimally. This is the use of sort of a bulldog type grip with a very stacked position, where the bar is really settled into the hand and doesn't move during the bench press. With sharper knurling, you can hold different positions more easily and have the bar settle differently in your hand without movement. But on these kinds of bars, especially when they spin, it can be very hard to control your wrist position and to control the bar during the bench, especially on with heavy weights. So now I'll get into demonstrating how I set that in the first place. Okay, so we want to get into our elected position for the bench. This is not my normal position, but this is what I'm doing today just to make it talking easier. I was bracing. What I try to do is I line up my hands evenly, both sides of the bar, and almost set up, not like it's in my hand or over my wrist, but almost as though it's gonna fall out of my hand, where it's almost like it's on my thumb and on my wrist rather than being in my hand. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I'll put it here, but instead of it being in my hand and benching like this, that I'm kind of externally rotating my wrist or my hand and putting it on like the lower part of my hand, almost as though if I didn't have a thumb, it would just go like this. It would just slide right off. And so I'll just demonstrate where it almost feels like the thumb is stopping the bar from coming out of the hands, from rolling out. And in doing that, even despite the bar not having knurling and not being the best, wanting to wibble, there's no real ability, unless I force it. The bar can't go anywhere in this position. The bar isn't pushing into the back of my hand, so it's not going to whip my wrist back, and it can't go any more forward, so it's not going to whip my wrist forward. So here again, boom. And so as I said, learning to bench in this way, on basic fits and on bad bars has helped me enormously when it came to my transition to better equipment as well, because it meant that I bench almost always with an extremely stacked and stable wrist position, because I'm used to bars that'll whip more. So yeah, that's my little TED talk, and I hope this helps someone. Okay, peace.